Hello all, I am Vijayendra Reddy, Current Affairs faculty. In today's lecture, we will discuss some national events that happened from November 11th to 20th of this year, that is 2017. First, we will start with one very good news for India. An Indian girl is crowned Miss World 2017. The 67th Miss World beauty pageant or beauty contest was held in Sanya city, which is in China, on November 18th, and Indian girl Manshi Chiller is crowned Miss World 2017. Manshi Chiller is from Haryana. The last time India won this very prestigious Miss World contest was in the year 2000 when Priyanka Chopra was crowned Miss World. And this is the sixth time that India has won Miss World title. That means so far 6 Indian women have won Miss World beauty titles. And India is now tied with Venezuela as far as the highest number of titles of Miss World is concerned. That means Venezuela also won 6 Miss World titles and India also won 6 Miss World titles. Now I will tell you the 6 Indian women who won this prestigious beauty contest called Miss World. The first winner is in 1966 Rita Faria. Then second is Aishwarya Rai in 1994, Diana Hayden 1997, Yuktha Mukhi 1999, Priyanka Chopra 2000, and now Manshi Chiller in 2017. So, absolutely important for your exam. Questions can be anything like this. Who is the latest Miss World or Miss World 2017? Manshi Chiller, or Manshi Chiller belongs to which state? Haryana. Or how many Indian women have won Miss World title? So far 6 women. Or who is the first ever Indian to win Miss World title? Way back in 1966, it is Rita Faria. So, remember all these absolutely important points for your upcoming exams. From Miss World 2017, we will move to Forbes magazine. So, Forbes magazine, which is based in USA, has released the list of 50 richest Asian families for the year 2017. I am repeating, Forbes magazine released 50 Asia's richest families, and for the first time this list is topped by India's Mukesh Ambani's family with a net worth of $44.8 billion. So, out of the 50 richest families in Asian continent, Mukesh Ambani's family has topped the list for the very first time. We know that Mukesh Ambani is the richest man in India, but first time his family has topped this Asia's richest families list. Mukesh Ambani is the chairman of Reliance Industries Limited. And another very stunning news is, out of these 50 families, 18 are from India. That means 18 Indian families have figured in the Forbes Asia's richest families list, which includes Ambanis, Premjis, Hindujas, Mittals, Mistris and Birlas. So, all these families are very rich families. They are figured in the Forbes Asia's richest families list. And previously, that is in 2015-16, the list was topped by Samsung Group chairman Lee Kun-hee. So, Samsung's Lee's family has slipped to second spot in this year's, that is 2017's Forbes Asia's richest families list. Lee belongs to South Korea. Remember, Samsung is based in South Korea, and Samsung's Lee's family has $40.8 billion assets, or their net worth is $40.8 billion. So, this is also very important. Whom did Mukesh Ambani replace as the Asia's richest family? It is Lee Kun-hee, who is none other than the chairman of Samsung Group, which is based in South Korea. Then another very positive news for the Narendra Modi government is there is one credit rating agency called Moody's, and this Moody's credit rating company or credit rating agency is based in America. It has upgraded India's sovereign credit rating from BAA3 to BAA2. I am repeating, India's credit rating, sovereign credit rating is upgraded to BAA2. Not only that, it has changed the outlook from positive to stable. That means this Moody's Investor Service, which is a credit rating agency based in America, has approved Prime Minister Narendra Modi's economic reforms. Particularly, it has approved the recently implemented GST, Goods and Services Tax. So, it is a shot in the arm for the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and it is the first time that the upgrading of India happened in the last 13 years by this credit rating agency called Moody's. So, remember all these points. Mostly they will ask you which credit rating agency has upgraded India's sovereign credit rating recently from BAA3 to BAA2. Then your answer is Moody's credit rating agency, or where is Moody's company situated or based? The answer is America. So, this is a very good news for Indian economy. Then continuing with this economic sector, the PSB Manthan, that is the public sector banks heads meeting, happened in Gurugram, which is a town in Haryana. So, there are at present 21 public sector banks, and all these banks heads have met in a place called Gurugram, and this meeting is called PSB Manthan, and it was inaugurated by the Union Finance Minister Arun Jaitley. And remember, this PSB Manthan happened in the backdrop of the huge step of Indian government announcing rupees 2.11 lakh crore for the recapitalization of public sector banks, particularly to fight the rising NPAs or non-performing assets. So, to overcome the problem of non-performing assets, or which are also called bad loans in simple words, Indian government has announced 2.11 lakh crore to the 21 public sector banks in October 2017, and in that backdrop this PSB Manthan happened in Gurugram, and it is the first ever PSB Manthan. And I will tell you one more figure which is very important for your exam. As on June 2017, the 21 public sector banks have NPAs of rupees 7.33 lakh crore. It is a huge amount. 7.33 lakh crore NPAs are lying in the 21 public sector banks. That means these loans are bad loans or bad debts which are not recovered. So, huge amount is there as NPAs with public sector banks. Then I will tell you one more very important news about banking. There is one system of banking which is called as Islamic banking, which is also called as Sharia banking. And the latest news is that the Reserve Bank of India has said no to Islamic banking or Sharia banking. Islamic banking is a finance system which is based on the principles of not charging interest. In Islamic banking, interest is not charged, and this is prohibited in Islam. And the Government of India and RBI for several years discussed introducing Islamic banking, but finally latest news is that we have said, or RBI said no to this Islamic banking. Then continuing with this economy, there is one big international financial institution called IMF, International Monetary Fund, which is headquartered in Washington DC, and its present MD is a woman, managing director. Her name is Christine Lagarde, Christine Lagarde is from France. This IMF, International Monetary Fund, has recently released the list of 200 countries based on the global GDP per capita rankings. I am repeating, global GDP per capita rankings. And in this global GDP per capita rankings, India is ranked 126th. So, India is ranked 126th in the list which is released by IMF, and this GDP, this per capita GDP is based on the PPP, purchasing power parity. So, India is ranked 126th in the latest IMF global GDP per capita rankings, and India's GDP per capita is $7,170, or you can say in Indian currency rupees 4.66 lakhs, and India is at the bottom of this BRICS countries. There are 5 countries: Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa, which have grouped into BRICS, and these 5 are emerging economies or fastest emerging economies, and among these BRICS countries, India is ranked the lowest with 126th rank. And what is more surprising is even America and United Kingdom are also not in the top 10. Then we will come to this most important fact. Then which is the richest country in the world, or which country topped this global GDP per capita rankings released by IMF? The answer is Qatar. Qatar is a Middle East country, and you can say that it is the world's richest country today, because in Qatar the per capita GDP is 1,24,930. $1,24,930. It's a huge money per person, and the list is topped by this Middle East country which is called as Qatar. And finally, you also remember one more fact, that this global GDP per capita rankings is a part of the latest World Economic Outlook report published by IMF. So, this question is asked in many exams: which organization or institution releases World Economic Outlook report every year? Then the answer is International Monetary Fund or IMF, and whatever I said till now, that is global GDP per capita rankings, are a part of this bigger report called World Economic Outlook report. From this economy, we will move to one very big prize, very prestigious prize that was announced on November 19, that is Indira Gandhi Peace Prize. This Indira Gandhi Prize for Peace, Disarmament and Development, or which is simply called as Indira Gandhi Peace Prize for the year 2017, was announced to former Prime Minister of India, Dr. Manmohan Singh. It was decided by the international jury, which is headed by former President of India, Pranab Mukherjee. Dr. Manmohan Singh is India's foreign minister, we all know, India's former Prime Minister, we all know, and he was RBI governor. In 1991, P.V. Narasimha Rao made him India's finance minister, and he served as India's finance minister from 1991 to 1996, and both P.V. Narasimha Rao and Dr. Manmohan Singh have started economic reforms in India, and from 2004 to 2014 he served as the India's Prime Minister 2 times. And Dr. Manmohan Singh's credit is he is the only third Indian Prime Minister to complete 2 full terms after Jawaharlal Nehru and Indira Gandhi. While announcing this Indira Gandhi Peace Prize to Dr. Manmohan Singh, the jury said that this prize is given to Dr. Manmohan Singh for his leadership of India, for his economic reforms, and he's improving relations with all the neighboring countries including China and Japan, and also for signing civil nuclear agreement with America during his tenure. So many achievements for Dr. Manmohan Singh. I will tell more about this Indira Gandhi Peace Prize. It is named after India's former Prime Minister, late Indira Gandhi, and it is announced mostly on November 19th every year. November 19th is the birth anniversary of Indira Gandhi, and this award was started in 1986. And I will tell you the last three winners before Dr. Manmohan Singh. In 2013, this Indira Gandhi Peace Prize was given to German Chancellor Angela Merkel. In 2014, it was given to ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, which is headquartered in Bangalore. And in 2015, it was given to another organization, UN Refugee Agency called UNHCR, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, which is based in Geneva. And in 2016, this prize was not given to anybody. It was not given to any individual or any organization. And after 1 year gap, this prize is given in 2017 to India's former Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh. Remember, all these are very, very important points. And this Indira Gandhi Peace Prize is very prestigious. Prize money is also huge, rupees 25 lakh, and this question is asked repeatedly in many exams, and I am sure this will be asked in future exams too. And don't get confused with another award with the same name, Indira Gandhi Award for National Integration, which I told in my earlier video lectures that Indira Gandhi Prize for National Integration was given to T.M. Krishna, whereas today I am talking about Indira Gandhi Peace Prize given to former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh. Now we will see some personalities who have made news in this 10 days period. One of them is Sethuratnam Ravi or S. Ravi. Sethuratnam Ravi is the new chairman of BSE, Bombay Stock Exchange. Bombay Stock Exchange, as the name indicates, it is headquartered or it is located in Mumbai, and it is the oldest stock exchange not only in India but in entire Asia, started way back in 1875. And this BSE has got a new chairman, and his name is Sethuratnam Ravi or S. Ravi, who is an eminent chartered accountant. S. Ravi has replaced Dhirendra Swarup, and SEBI has approved S. Ravi's appointment as the chairman of Bombay Stock Exchange. SEBI is the regulator of all stock exchanges, so SEBI has to approve this, and SEBI has already approved his appointment, S. Ravi's appointment as the new chairman of BSE. SEBI stands for Securities and Exchange Board of India, which is the regulator of all stock exchanges in our country, and SEBI is also headquartered in Mumbai. Then we will move to Nandan Nilekani. Nandan Nilekani is a tech billionaire, is one of the founders of a very big IT company, Infosys, and he is currently the chairman of Infosys. Not only that, Nandan Nilekani is former chairman of UIDAI or Aadhaar. UIDAI stands for Unique Identification Authority of India, and now Nandan Nilekani is in the news because he has pledged half his wealth to philanthropy. So that is why he is in the news, and this is very, very important. And he has pledged to, or he has joined a club called the Giving Pledge. You remember this very, very special elite club called the Giving Pledge, which is started by Bill Gates and his wife Melinda Gates along with another very rich man, Warren Buffett, who is world's #1 stock market investor, and it was started by them in 2010. And what does this giving pledge do? It is the giving pledge is an elite network of world's wealthiest individuals committing half of their wealth to philanthropy or charity work. That means whatever they have earned in their life, they have to give. Whoever joins this giving pledge club, they have to give 50% or at least 50% or half of their wealth to charity or philanthropy. So, India's Nandan Nilekani also joined this elite club, but Nandan Nilekani is not the first Indian to join this giving pledge. Already 3 Indians have committed to this giving pledge. They are Azim Premji of Wipro, then Kiran Majumdar Shah of Biocon and PNC Menon of Shobha Developers, and now Nandan Nilekani joined them. So, that means all of them will give 50% of their wealth to philanthropy or charity. So, great human beings are these people. And you also remember this elite club was joined by, or this elite network was started by Bill Gates, Melinda Gates and Warren Buffett, and we know that Bill Gates and Warren Buffett have already given most of their wealth to philanthropy. So, Indians also joining this list. Then there is one person called Jean S. Le Drian. Jean S. Le Drian, he is a French foreign minister. He visited India in November 2017. So, question will be very simple. Name the foreign minister of France who visited India. Jean S. Le Drian, or much simpler, Jean S. Le Drian visited India. He is the foreign minister of which of the following countries? Then the answer is France. He visited India. He met India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He met his counterpart, that is India's External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj. And his visit comes ahead of the French President Emmanuel Macron's visit, which is slated for early next year. French President Emmanuel Macron will visit India very soon to participate in the first ever ISA conference, International Solar Alliance Conference. So, this is very important. Which country is going to host the first ISA conference or International Solar Alliance Conference? Then the answer is India. So, who is coming to this conference? It is the French President Emmanuel Macron. So, before Emmanuel Macron, his foreign minister or French foreign minister Jean S. Le Drian visited our country. And in his visit to India, he described India as the only strategic partner for France in the entire South Asia. And he also said that the purchase of 36 Rafale fighter jets is a win-win partnership for both countries. Remember, in September 2016, India has signed a deal with France for the purchase of 36 Rafale fighter jets, which are manufactured by a French aviation company, Dassault, and most probably these fighter jets will be delivered to India next year, that is in 2018. So, they are ultra modern fighter aircraft manufactured by French company Dassault. And finally, we will move to one South Indian actress called Trisha Krishnan. Trisha Krishnan was made UNICEF's celebrity advocate. So, very important, which South Indian actress was made celebrity advocate by the UNICEF? Then the answer is Trisha Krishnan, and she is the first film actor from South India to get this very special recognition, that is celebrity advocate for UNICEF. So, from South India she is the first actor or actress. So, what does that mean? That means she will lend support to efforts in fighting child marriages, child labor and child abuse, especially in Tamil Nadu and Kerala states. So, that is the role of Trisha Krishnan as UNICEF's celebrity advocate. So, this is about the latest national affairs. Thank you.